folks. Welcome to the weekend. This is Michael on the graveyard shift in the wee hours of the night with your daily trivia question. Yet once again, to get the weekend started, happy Saturday. Oh my goodness. I think it's going to be maybe partly cloudy. I don't know. It's the same song, Second Dance. It's going to be partly cloudy, pop-up storms, extreme heat. Anyways, it's the weekend, so let's have some fun. School's about to start here in a few weeks, so don't forget to have fun, folks. Anywho, I digress just a bit. The answer to the previous trivia question was none other than air traffic controllers. Now, I remember when this showdown took place and played out. This is actually when I started to become like a news junkie because I watched this unfold with my dad on the news every night. So PATCO, let's just talk about PATCO, the Professional Air Traffic Controllers Organization, was ruled to be a trade union in the late 60s. A little bit of history here. And they began to announce adherence to some policies and standards that resulted in what equated on the long end of things to slowdowns, delays, of air traffic in the United States. Now, when they saw how effective this could be, they also kind of doubled down on some things and began what are known as sick outs for multiple day periods. Any of this sound familiar? It's been done before. These actions would be the first of many for PATCO throughout the 70s. Now, here comes Ronald Reagan, elected president. His administration, his cabinet in the 1980s, and by 1981, things had escalated with PATCO to the point that in August of 1981, the union declared a strike for a number of reasons. They wanted better working conditions, better pay, a 32-hour work week. They wanted to be excluded from civil service clauses, which they were bound by, okay? A whole slew and list of demands. In striking, the union actually violated a federal statute which explicitly prohibits strikes by federal workers. And this has been on the books for a very long time, but everybody just, as far as unions were concerned, when they started making demands and protesting and striking and so forth, looked the other way. Not Ronald Reagan. So you got yourself a nice little showdown forming here. Growing, escalating, culminating, getting ready to happen. Ronald Reagan declared that PATCO strike was a, quote, peril to national safety, and he ordered them back to work under the terms of the Taft-Hartley Act from the 1940s. He actually cited and referenced an act from the 1940s, and he said, listen, it's specifically stated in this act that you can't do what you're doing, and you need to go back to work. Now, only 1,300 people out of all the air traffic controllers in the United States went back to work. They said, you know what? It's probably a better idea that we don't mess with this guy when we go back to work. On August 3rd, during a press conference regarding the PATCO strike and regarding the rest of the over 11,000 people that did not go back to work, President Reagan made this declaration, and I have a soundbite.
I must tell those who failed to report for duty this morning, they are in violation of the law. And if they do not report for work within 48 hours, they have forfeited their jobs and will be terminated.
All right, so there you go. 2 days later, Reagan, and everybody balked at this. Everybody's like, guys, especially the air traffic controllers, like, this guy, there's no way he's going to do this. 2 days later, Reagan followed through on this promise, and he carried out his threat, and he fired 11,345 striking air traffic controllers who had ignored the order. He not only did that, he banned them from federal service for life. PATCO was later decertified by the Federal Labor Relations Authority, and several strikers were even jailed. Some people went to jail over this. The union was eventually fined and would subsequently be made bankrupt over this whole thing. Major loss for unions. Major kind of putting your stake into the ground for Reagan and the executive branch. This had a profound effect on the aggressiveness of labor at the time. Reagan's firing of the government employees encouraged large private employers to hire striker replacements instead of negotiating in labor conflicts. And I remember the subsequent effect of this just as much as I remember this original occurrence, actually, is the whole issue of union busting and replacements. Okay, it provided significant weight to the executive branch, like I referenced just a moment ago, of the government, to cynical labor groups who thought that the president would never enforce the statutes that were on the books that unions violated. When Reagan came along, all of that, because of this incident, of course, changed. The government will not back down was his underlying message. It provided even more weight to the private sector business leaders, and this was a significant point, to use their own discretion to both hire and discharge workers. Suddenly, the private sectors could flex their muscle a little bit over this. That was the message that they took away. Unions no longer had complete control of things. A couple of geek factoids about this whole occurrence. Patco was founded in 1968 with the assistance of attorney F. Lee Bailey. I found that interesting. I did not know that. F. Lee Bailey, of course, is from the O.J. Simpson defense team fame. So that's some origins in that regard. And it has been asserted that this shakedown and showdown and shakeout of sorts that happened between Patco Union and President Reagan and his actions overall and how he handled it had a profound influence in economic recovery as it pertained to the private business sector in the United States. Some historians have gone back and looked at that aspect and have cited that overall outcome when you bottom line things. Again, I am old enough to remember this. I remember this playing out night after night very, very well. All right, folks, check this out. This is a pretty cool trivia question to get the weekend started. Let's get to it. For August 6th, on this day in 1991, after becoming frustrated with the inefficiencies and difficulties posed by finding information stored on different computers, a computer scientist named Timothy Berners-Lee invents this by joining together essential technologies that were available at the time. Good luck, folks. And if I haven't told you recently, you guys are awesome. And I appreciate everything you do. It's a privilege to be on your team. And go have a great weekend and have some fun. Peace out.